There was a time when you had no name, no history, no memory, no sense of self. You had no fears, no desires, no ambitions, no plans, no opinion about life, no awareness that life existed at all. You did not wonder who you were because there was no you yet. No inner voice, no thoughts waiting to be expressed. You were a zygote, a single cell, a microscopic sphere of organic matter, without shape, without face, without past, already determined to become you, yet still completely unrecognizable as a person. There were no choices there, no suffering, but also no relief, no pleasure, no meaning. From that minimal biological event, something began to unfold, slowly at first, then irreversibly. Cells divided, structures emerged, tissue organized itself with mechanical precision. Small protrusions appeared where arms and legs would one day exist. A spinal column took shape. A primitive brain began forming, not to think, but to regulate survival. There was a moment when you were a fetus, incomplete, fragile, entirely dependent, alive but not autonomous, existing but unable to sustain yourself, forming but far from finished. You were contained inside another body, fed through it, protected by it, at its mercy. And then, one day, you were born, violently separated from a closed, warm, regulated environment and thrust into an open world that was cold, loud, bright, and uncontrollable. You took your first breath, not by choice, but by necessity. You began to bleed, to feel hunger, to experience discomfort, to register pain, to react to fear. From that moment on, your body became a site of vulnerability. You could get sick, you could be injured, you could age, you could decay, and you still can. Since then, you have lived inside another kind of womb, no longer biological, but existential, the womb of the human condition. A closed system you cannot exit while alive. A space where everything that exists deteriorates, where every structure weakens, where every organism moves, slowly or violently, toward collapse. If this description of flesh, dependence, exposure, and decline makes you uneasy, if it triggers discomfort mixed with a strange sense of recognition, then you have already brushed against one of the most unsettling concepts in modern philosophy, a concept known as abjection. In the 1980s, philosopher and psychoanalyst Julia Kristeva introduced the concept of abjection in her work, Powers of Horror. At its core, abjection describes a visceral reaction, almost automatic, that arises when something confronts us with the raw materiality and fragility of our own bodies. Blood outside the body, vomiting, excrement, rotting flesh, open wounds, the smell of decay. None of these things are foreign to human life. They are not external threats from another world. They are us, and that is precisely why they disturb us. Human identity depends on boundaries. We define ourselves by separation, self versus non-self, clean versus dirty, order versus chaos, life versus death. Abjection occurs when these boundaries collapse, when blood that should remain hidden spills out, when the inside becomes visible, when the body refuses to stay contained and controlled. In those moments, the body stops being mine and becomes that, an object, a thing, not fully separate from us, yet no longer comfortably integrated into the idea of a stable self. Abjection is not just disgust, it is an existential threat. It exposes the fact that the rational, coherent identity we rely on is built on constant denial. Denial of decay, denial of vulnerability, denial of the biological truth that we are organisms first, thinkers second. Most of our lives are spent trying to forget this. We distract ourselves with work, with consumption, with entertainment, with status, with narratives of progress and success. But the illusion is fragile. When illness strikes, when the body fails, when age becomes visible, when death comes close, the reminder is unavoidable. Abjection tells us something we desperately resist. We are not just consciousness housed in flesh. We are flesh, and flesh rots. When someone confronts this biological reality honestly, and then extends that honesty to human behavior, a deep sense of disillusionment often follows. This is where misanthropy begins. Misanthropy is not simply hatred of people. It is not bitterness for its own sake. It is a philosophical position rooted in observation. A recognition that humanity, as a collective, repeatedly demonstrates moral inconsistency, intellectual laziness, and ethical failure. We call ourselves rational, yet act on impulse, fear, and tribal instinct. We claim to value morality, yet excuse cruelty when it benefits us. We speak of civilization while systematizing violence. Thomas Hobbes argued that without strong authority, human life would descend into chaos, a war of all against all. Jean-Jacques Rousseau disagreed on the origin, but reached a similar conclusion. Human social organization produces suffering at scale. History offers no shortage of evidence. Wars justified by ideology, genocides rationalized as necessity, exploitation disguised as economic order, hunger maintained by political design, extreme inequality normalized as inevitability. This is not ancient history. It is ongoing. Misanthropy emerges not from contempt, but from pattern recognition, from noticing how often intelligence serves cruelty, how easily empathy collapses under pressure, how quickly ideals dissolve when power is at stake. And if one follows this line of thought far enough, a darker question appears. What if the problem is not only how humans live, but that they live at all? Antinatalism is the philosophical position that assigns negative value to birth itself. It is not merely a personal decision to remain childless. It is a moral claim. To bring a conscious being into existence is to expose it, without consent, to inevitable suffering. The philosopher David Benatar articulated this argument with uncomfortable clarity. Life, even under favorable conditions, contains unavoidable harm, physical pain, psychological distress, anxiety, loss, disappointment, boredom, aging, the gradual decline of the body, and finally, death. No one escapes these. Benatar also highlights something deeply unsettling. Humans systematically misjudge how good life actually is. We adapt to suffering. We rationalize pain. We remember pleasure more vividly than discomfort. We normalize chronic distress as just how things are. This cognitive bias does not erase suffering. It merely obscures it. His most famous contribution is the asymmetry argument. The presence of pain is bad. The presence of pleasure is good. But the absence of pain is good even if no one experiences that good. And the absence of pleasure is not bad if there is no one deprived of it. From this perspective, non-existence is not a loss. There is no subject to be harmed. Existence, however, guarantees exposure to harm. This challenges one of our deepest assumptions, that being born is always a gift. If we know suffering is inevitable, do we have the moral right to impose it on someone who cannot consent? Antinatalism does not emerge from hatred of humanity. It emerges from compassion, from the desire to avoid unnecessary suffering. Yet a paradox remains. Even if humans disappeared, life would continue elsewhere. Suffering is not unique to our species. It is built into the mechanics of life itself. Life consumes life. Energy is extracted through destruction. Everything that lives does so by wearing itself down. Existence is combustion. Everything that lives burns. And yet, humans are unique in one crucial way. We are capable of understanding this, of anticipating pain before it happens, of feeling empathy for suffering that does not yet exist. We create philosophy not only to explain reality, but to soften it, to limit harm, to impose meaning where none is guaranteed. This is our deepest contradiction. We are fragile, flawed, and grotesque. But we are also capable of lucidity, restraint, and care. We did not choose to be born, but we can choose how we respond to the fact that we are here. Perhaps human dignity does not lie in denying the absurdity of existence, but in facing it honestly, and still trying to live with less cruelty, less blindness, and less indifference. That tension never resolves, and perhaps it shouldn't. If you've made it this far, pause for a second. Not because I want something from you, but because attention is the most honest currency there is. You didn't have to stay. You could have clicked away, scrolled past, chosen something easier, lighter, louder. But you didn't. You stayed with an uncomfortable idea. You listened. You reflected. And that already means more than you might think. Content like this doesn't exist to entertain you for a few minutes and disappear. It exists because there are thoughts that don't fit into quick clips, questions that don't go down smoothly, and silences that deserve to be felt instead of avoided. Just watching, just being here, already helps keep this space alive. Sharing the video helps even more. It tells the algorithm, and other people, that depth still matters. But if at some point you feel that this content speaks for thoughts you've never quite been able to articulate, if it gives language to discomfort, clarity to confusion, or simply the feeling of, I'm not alone in thinking this, then becoming a channel member is a way of turning that connection into continuity. Membership isn't about exclusivity. It's about sustaining a place where difficult ideas are treated with seriousness and respect. Members help make longer videos possible, deeper research viable, and themes like this worth pursuing without compromise. And if you want to support a specific video, a super thanks is a quiet but powerful gesture. It's a way of saying, this mattered to me. No spectacle, no pressure, just recognition. That said, and this matters, you don't owe anything. Your time already has value. Your presence already counts. Your attention is already support. Everything beyond that is optional, voluntary, and appreciated, never expected. If you choose to stay, to subscribe, to become a member, or to use super thanks, thank you. You're not just supporting a channel. You're helping keep a space open for thinking honestly in a world that often rewards distraction. And if all you do is watch, reflect, and carry these ideas with you, that's already more than enough.